Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this edition of the program, The Platform. On this program, we examine national issues. There is an immigration challenge around the world, it seems. If you are in Europe, there is a problem with illegal immigration. Indeed, in the United States, the United States would have a problem with Latinos, especially people coming in from Mexico. And in the Bahamas, we have a problem as well. And our problem is largely with people coming in from the northern part of Haiti. And so we do have an immigration problem. And there would be people who would suggest that we have a legal as well as an illegal immigration problem. On our program today, we are going to be discussing the immigration problems that we have in the country. And I have two able bodies here today to discuss the matter. Professor Rudolph Tinker, who is a political scientist, and he is with Central Texas College, among other institutions where he is teaching. And it is our pleasure to have Mr. Tinker in Nassau today and as a guest on our program. And also here with him is Mr. Louby, a Bahamian of Haitian descent. He is a talk show host of the Creole Connection. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nice to have you here.
Glad to be here. It's a privilege.
You don't get to Nassau very often, Mr. Tinker.
Well, I've been coming very often. I've been on a few radio shows.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've been on the Real Talk radio show.
Okay.
I discuss a lot of national issues. I'm due to be on about 4 shows this week.
I see.
And I'll be also guest lecturing at COB discussing slavery in the Americas.
Okay.
With Professor Aronis. I'll be in his classroom on Friday.
So what is your concentration in political science?
Well, I am a little unique. I have several concentrations. One of my main concentrations, to tell you the truth, is Middle Eastern politics. I'm a Middle Eastern specialist where I teach terrorism, international, domestic / homeland security. But also in my studies as a general political scientist, I've also studied international relations and the politics of local and state governments.
So perhaps I should be speaking to you about the Islamic State.
Oh, if you want to talk to that, that's why I said I'm very well-rounded. I'm not restricted to 242. I'm a global mind.
Okay.
Plus, I was in the United States Army during the war.
Okay.
From
Which war was it?
The current war.
Okay.
2002 to 2006. And I also served in the U.S. Navy, so I'm a very, very worldly person. I've taught in Saudi Arabia. I taught and I was stationed in a place called Jeddah, right on the Red Sea. And even that, besides teaching in political science, I also have a master's in criminal justice, where I also taught solutions to crime, the impact of the American judicial and criminal justice system / terrorism, because now the police departments over there have to deal with terrorists. So I took a big shift in teaching, but I was able to keep everything very close to political science because I believe political science is the nucleus of everything. Politics touches everything. Medical, I mean, you name it. Every part of the world, politics touch. Because it's so funny, I was in school to be a doctor, medical doctor, and up to 90 credits in biology, I did almost a 360 shift. And I said, you know what? Being a doctor, you only can deal with the sick. But getting into political scientists, or getting into politics, you can touch everything. You can make laws for the hospitals, laws for this, laws for that, etc. So that's the shift I took. And so, but I'm very well-rounded. So any questions you have, please toss them.
So you have an interest in the immigration problem in the Bahamas?
Yes, because I did a lot of work, I would say, in the U.S. with the current U.S. policy right now on immigration, because President Obama right now, being in his last term as a second-term president, normally many presidents in their first term would not touch something drastic as immigration because it could cost them an election. And normally presidents in their second election wouldn't touch immigration within the first 3 years because it could cause danger of the person that might be running in their party to be the next president. In this case, President Obama would be Hillary Clinton if she decides to go forward. So,
well, we're not too sure it's going to be Hillary Clinton, and sometimes, you know, depending on how you deal with the issue, it can help the person who is following you, eh?
Exactly. So in this case, I particularly see him passing an amnesty bill, and what I see him doing is extending the Ronald Reagan amnesty bill from 1986. Clinton extended it from 86, and in 1996, Clinton extended it from 86 to 96 and said whoever came in the country between 86 and 96, you can legalize. Ronald Reagan did it in 86 and took care of everybody then. Clinton did it in 96. So I see President Obama doing from 96 probably to 2006 without legislating any additional laws. He's just extending an existing policy. So he can't say, well, it was something new that I did. Well, a Republican president did it. I just extended it.
Louby Georges, we heard a lot about Mr. Tinker. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I think I'm here to assist my good friend, Mr.
Oh, just to
Tinker.
assist him?
Not to assist him, but to talk about the...
You're the backup man, eh?
No, not to assist
I see,
him.
okay.
But to really talk about the immigration issue that we have here in the country, because when we think about immigration, you know, a lot of persons, you know, automatically think Haitian. And because I have of Haitian background, I'm a Bahamian of Haitian descent. I have a natural stake in it because my family is still Haitians. Okay. And I'm a Bahamian, so I owe my allegiance to the Bahamas. I want to see this country grow, but at the same time, my ties and connections with Haiti and with Haitians, I think I have something to offer in that sense. Okay.
There are many young Bahamians like yourself who are partial to Haiti because of their ancestry, because of their connection. And they are not as nationalistic as some Bahamians would wish them to be. Where are you? Are you a Bahamian nationalist?
I am a Bahamian nationalist, but I will not ever forget where I come from. Now, with me being from Haitian background again, it only says that I have something to offer. I have a natural connection with the Haitian community. If, let's say, for instance, a shanty town right now, you as Mr. Jones, as a Bahamian, you tried to go into a shanty town, they may not be too receptive to you. But if I, Louby Georges, as a Bahamian, went into a shanty town, they're going to accept me, they're going to talk to me. You see what I'm saying? Okay. You follow where I'm going? So at the end of the day, I'm a nationalist. I want to help this country, the Bahamas, my country.
But where is your allegiance?
My allegiance obviously is here to the Bahamas, my country, my Bahama land.
All right, let's
get that out the way.
Let's get that out the way so we can move on.
Yes, sir.
How did we get this way, Professor Tinker?
In the Bahamas,
in our immigration situation?
Well, I've looked at a lot of the immigration policies of the Bahamas, and I've looked at the trends of how the government's dealt with immigration from the time of independence and the time now. And I've not seen that much shift in immigration policies at all. Now, I've interviewed some people today that's been in the country since 1963, 1979, and a few of these people don't have any sort of documentation. That's a long time. It's older than me. I mean, I'm 35 years old.
Okay.
And for other immigration policies that says, well, if you were born of Haitian parents, I mean, if you were born in the Bahamas and both of your parents are not Bahamians, you have to wait until you're 18, I think the policy says, to apply for some sort of, basically to apply for residency or apply for citizenship, however it goes. And I say to myself, to be in a country for 18 years and be unable to do anything.
What do you mean unable to do anything?
If you're in a country undocumented for 18 years.
You're not undocumented.
How would you be documented?
No, you're not undocumented.
Let's discuss this. How would you be documented?
Because if both of your parents are Haitian,
right?
I say Mr. Georges' parents were, he applied before reaching the age of 18 or at the age of 18.
The law says apply at 18.
Yes, okay, all right. Prior to that, he was Haitian.
Okay, so...
And so all the people that you are talking about who were born here to Haitian parents, they're Haitian.
So where do you want them to
They're not undocumented.
So where do you want them to get this documentation from?
The Haitian consulate.
And you think that's right?
Why is it not right?
If you're born in a country, in a sovereign country, you were born there.
Yes.
You wasn't born 7 nautical miles in the sea.
There are many countries, Professor Tinker, that would tell you that you being born in that country does not give you an automatic right to citizenship.
Could you give me an example of one of them?
There are many countries.
Tell me one of them.
No, there are certain countries in the Middle East.
Well, that's the Middle East. There are a lot of rogue states over there.
Rogue states, you call it a rogue state?
Saudi Arabia don't give anybody citizenship, but I don't want to use that.
I'm not too sure. I believe in the Caribbean, you have a few countries in the region that will tell you the same thing. Their law will tell you that you're being born in the country in the Caribbean does not necessarily mean that you are a citizen of the country where you were born.
Could I expand on that? Even in the United States, if you're born in the United States, it doesn't guarantee you anything. But
right.
This is the way it's handled. You have something called a natural born citizen, which is someone who was born in the U.S., which the same person of two immigrant parents is a natural born citizen. I'll give you an example. General Powell was of Jamaican ancestry.
Yeah.
His mother and father, and I think he was on your show, was of Jamaican ancestry. He was born in the United States and reached the office of Secretary of State, and he could be president. I couldn't be president of the United States, even though I'm a U.S. citizen, because I wasn't born there, but I was able to naturalize. He got it automatically. That's one type of citizenship.
Where was he born?
He was born in the United States.
Yes. And so if you're born in the United States, their law is that you are a citizen.
Right.
Now, that is not our law.
I know that's not. No, I know that's your law.
But
let me get to it.
So you should respect the law of the Bahamas.
I'm not, number one, I'm Bahamian also. I'm not against. I'm totally for the legalization of immigration, and I'm against illegal immigration. But just let's look at this for a second. Many Bahamians come to the United States and they live there. And it is very, very, very critical to live in America as a person that is statusless. Yeah, you could have your Bahamian passport, but if you live in America and you don't have a work permit or a green card, you're in trouble. You can't get a driver's license. You can't get a job. You can't do any of that. But America makes laws to allow people to adjust. Why would you want someone in your country, even if they get a Haitian passport, to be in this country and can't do nothing with that passport for 18 years? What could they do? What could they do for 18 years?
They are able to attend school, all right, in the Bahamas. They are able to get work permits in the Bahamas. All they need to do is to follow the law.
Louby, could you, from the interviews I've taken, yeah, that's all nice and dandy, but I'm not seeing it happen.
I think what we're, sorry to cut you, I think what we're discussing here right now is the Haitian-Bahamian situation really, and not really the immigration side, because you're talking about persons born here in the country. The problem is this, they are documented. Before reaching the age of 18, you are Haitian. You can get a certificate of identity from the Bahamas government. You can utilize that to travel, to go to school, and do other stuff. The problem really comes in when we look at our citizenship process. We don't have a problem with applying. We don't have a problem with the law. We're going to go by the law. Okay, so now let's take, for instance, this person who was about 22, 23. Let's take a 25-year-old person. You are not on a certificate of identity anymore. You can't use that anymore after applying for citizenship. We know that this process takes 5, 10, 15, 20 years sometimes. Why? That needs to be dealt with. But this person is still Haitian because he's not been approved for Bahamian citizenship. He still now can go and get, or still has, a Haitian passport. Now here comes the problem. I go to the bank with this Haitian passport. Where's your work permit? Where's your this? Where's your that? You see what I'm saying? That's where the problem comes in. How do you differentiate a person born here of Haitian descent who's 25 and only knew this country until 25 and still here, wants to contribute, from a Haitian who walks off the boat yesterday? I have a Haitian passport, he has a Haitian passport.
Same category.
What's the difference between me and him?
Well, there's no difference because you happen to be Haitian. Both of you are Haitian, okay? Now, if you are putting forth an argument that the government of the Bahamas has not been efficient in awarding citizenship or in naturalizing people, then you have a very good argument. We know that successive governments have been negligent in dealing with these applications. And there are thousands of applications before the Cabinet of the Bahamas. Indeed, it is the Cabinet of the Bahamas
That approves it.
that approves your citizenship.
And that, I think, is a problem.
That is a problem.
That is a problem.
Yes, that is a problem.
But in a democracy, the richest country, so to say, per capita in the Western Hemisphere, this should not be.
Why?
This should not be.
Why?
Why do you think it's productive to keep a group of people down?
No, you're not keeping a group of people down. What the Bahamian electorate, the citizenry must demand that the government must be more efficient
Exactly.
in processing
Exactly.
these applications.
But
all right?
I did.
And successive governments, as I said, must be indicted for doing a poor job in assessing and approving these applications.
I agree with you 100%, but I want to get to the point of saying that, in my opinion, and this is only opinion, you know, and as a professor, I try not to give opinion, but in this case, I will argue this is an opinion or as a comment. I just don't see the rationale in keeping someone in the country 18 years without the process of applying. That's just too long. That is just too long. It holds a person back. You know, I went to the States when I was 15 years old. I was able to apply through the process, became a U.S. resident, went into the university, got a reduced fee because now I'm a U.S. resident and a resident of Florida, go to college, go to grad school, became a citizen, joined the Army, do a whole bunch of things because there was a process in place to apply. And I was able to contribute back to the country during a wartime. Many of these patients that are in here and other immigrants, not just them, want to do the same thing. But the rich people living out east and on Paradise Island is able to come in, spend $500,000 or $250,000 and get residency in a very expeditious way? Why we're not dealing with these are the people that are going to do all the menial jobs. The rich people are not coming here to do the menial jobs in this country. It's the same poor people. Now, I was going to come here to argue today. Before the show, we spoke a little bit about amnesty. And you said it was sort of talked about back in 2007. But I think we need to really take a look at amnesty and how amnesty would benefit this group of people and the country as a whole. I think if these people are able to have some legalization in the country where they could legally contribute, pay taxes, get a legal job, then they will, instead of sending all this money to Haiti that they're making on the under the table, they can now invest this money back into the country.
But Mr. Tinker, there are thousands of young persons in this country, who were Haitian nationals, who are now Bahamians, who have been regularized.
Yes.
There are thousands of them,
But after a long time.
There are thousands of them, They are on our police force.
But after a long
time. They are
time.
nurses. They are throughout the civil service. They're everywhere.
I'm not disputing it,
So this is a young country.
I'm not
Okay?
listening. I'm not disputing
This is a young country, and there's a particular phobia about immigration in the Bahamas.
Very true.
And which we want to examine, but let's take this break here in the program. This is the platform. Professor Rudolph Tinker here today, along with Louby Georges. We'll come right back.